Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
There is a conversation happening everywhere, in boardrooms, classrooms, clinics, and community centers. It is urgent, often incomplete, and for many small business owners and community leaders, it is already running behind. That conversation is about artificial intelligence, not the science fiction version, but the real version quietly reshaping how businesses, governments, and communities operate every day. Most people think artificial intelligence is something they choose to participate in. They believe they can opt in by downloading an app or opening a tool like ChatGPT or Gemini. But that is not how it works anymore. If your business has a website, social media, digital payments, or customer data in the cloud, you are already inside the AI system. Daryl T. Black, a veteran technology executive, made this clear. We need builders, not just users. A user interacts with tools built by others, while a builder creates tools, workflows, and strategies that solve real problems. The future will not belong only to those who prompt, but to those who build, govern, and shape the systems themselves. Daryl shared a memorable metaphor. Adopting AI is like getting a puppy. At first, it is exciting and gets attention, but puppies grow into dogs that require care, boundaries, and responsibility. Production AI becomes part of daily operations, influencing decisions and creating dependencies. If not managed, it can outgrow your ability to govern it, leading to real business risks. AI readiness is not just about subscribing to software or attending a training session. It starts with an honest assessment. What AI tools are in use? Who uses them? What data do they access? Daryl's approach begins with evaluating the current state, identifying gaps, and building architecture for audit trails, access controls, compliance monitoring, and human oversight. Every organization now needs a governance moat, a protective architecture around people, data, and decisions. This includes identifying all AI tools, understanding data flows, enforcing least privilege access, and ensuring human oversight. Governance gaps become business risks. The organizations that lead in the AI era will be those with the strongest governance moat, not just the most powerful tools. AI brings both threat and opportunity, especially for communities historically left out of technology. Adaptation is not surrender, it is strategy. The BRAVE framework, brand, resilience, authenticity, vision, execution, guides leaders to ensure AI aligns with their values and goals. The AI era is here. The only question is, will you be a user or a builder?
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaw. I am here in Omaha, Nebraska, and it takes me to come all the way to Omaha, Nebraska to see and be with one of my people from Florida and South Carolina and the South. We were just talking, so not too many people who look like us are in certain areas of the information technology world. I want to introduce Daryl Black. Daryl Black has operated as a CIO, a CTO, a CDO. I mean, this is a strategic guy who knows how to operate in the IT world, whether it's in the government world, also the private sector. He's going to be able to really showcase for us what this enormous change, especially in the AI era, especially when it comes to AI readiness, things of that nature that we just maybe aren't thinking about. There's a lot of curiosity around AI now. People are utilizing it. It's, I think, one of the first enterprise type tools that are in the hands of the common people. But we need to understand how to drive with that and especially go from individuals into small business into enterprise modalities that are still at stake today. So Daryl, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Black. And Grant, I want to say before I get started, thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this conversation on your wonderful podcast. Daryl Black from the Blacks of Hayward Brockton Road in Columbia, South Carolina, and went to school in Delaware, double majored, math, computer sci. Went on to understand business, understand technology, understand the community, and how to bring those things together in an interoperable way in order to better from where we are to where we need to be as a culture and as a community. And so I appreciate you having me here today.
No, it's my pleasure. We've got to let our audience know more because in your world, you bring a lot to the table. What's behind your title before Kyndryl, before IBM, before the CIO seat? Who is Daryl T. Black? And I want to know, what were your early experiences that shaped the way that you lead technology and people today?
Well, I guess to sum it up, Daryl T. Black is someone who's trying to do God's will, man. And I know that for some people may sound trite, but that's the only way I can live my life in a sagacious way, through wisdom, through understanding. Being a product of a preacher and a teacher. And my father was also a vice principal, so I had academia on both sides, and a pastor and a first lady all over the fingerprints of my life. And so I understand people and understand that the working with people can be complicated. Working with people can be messy. But when I was going through actually a somewhat of a not only career change, but a career impacting opportunity for the community, being an elected official in the school board, because I really wanted to touch the community at its closest point through policy, and that policy creates culture, whether people believe it or not. That's why voting is so important. But I did that because I wanted to take everything that's going on, especially in line with AI. AI is going to change everything that we're doing. And so I wanted to impact the community in a way to say, hey, we need to shift our focus. We need to understand not only what's transpiring, but how business is going to react to it, how business is attributing, this major, powerful, what I called, someone asked me one day, how do I define AI? I define AI as the closest thing to a godlike essence that's been created without the Ten Commandments. Because you got to realize, and that's why I I believe it was so important for me to try to connect with the community as I'm trying to do here in Omaha, is because AI is built on algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
Algorithms are built by people. And if you want to create a wealth gap, if you want to create a gap in healthcare, if you want to create a gap in just job seeking, when you're putting in applications, that will do that. When you come to facial recognition, all of that will have the racist and bias components in it if there are no safeguards in place.
Mm-hmm.
Only place right now, and I've been working on policies and procedures to address that in the government space, because government will connotate what transpires within the business enterprise if created into law. What it is that New York has defined the ability to really put safeguards around and audit tracks on what AI is doing with applicants that come in to a particular workforce, being able, how they're being evaluated, how they're being treated in hospitals, which Mandani is doing a great job in having implemented that, which is huge. But we need it on a national basis.
Mm-hmm.
If you have followed politics, which I know you do, but as far as your audience is concerned, the first 90 days of this current administration, over 300,000 Black women were released from their jobs. Okay, so that's 300,000 families.
Mm-hmm.
Black women are the cornerstone. So what do we do in this age of technology? What do we do in this age of flux? What do we do in this age of uncertainty?
Mm-hmm.
We do what we've always done, and that's adapt.
I hear you. Yeah.
And so in adapting, we need to not look at AI as a replacement, but as a tool. We need to start refining our own algorithms and creating our own, because we have the power now.
Mm-hmm.
We need, instead of just users, and this is what I really want to focus in on, this is what I'm really huge on, we need builders.
Yes.
We need people to really start to understand now what AI can do, how it can benefit them, how they can grow their own, because that's where it's going to come. It's going to come to entrepreneurship. Businesses, I would venture to say, will no longer participate as much as they have in building community in order to attract talent, because AI is going to, and when I say AI, and let me kind of clarify that.
Yep.
I'm really looking at super intelligence, which is the next iteration. And super intelligence, AI is not really, the boogeyman. Super intelligence is.
Okay. Let it be known now. The boogeyman is on deck.
and super intelligence is here. It hasn't been deployed, but it is here. And so that's something that's always had, and for the last decade, has given me a little heartburn.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of heartburn, because you're talking about an entity that is self-learning, self-healing, self-teaching, and will defend itself, and will create hallucinations. It will create whatever it can to, if you're putting in information that it feels threatened by, it could take all your information that you've housed in thinking that is safe and secure, and say, hey, look at this dude. And spread it all over the world.
And tell on you.
Because you got to realize that when you're interacting with these computers, it's not just what you're typing in. It's what you're saying. It's what it's seeing. It's what it's
Well, as you get into spatial computing, computer vision, now you're giving the super intelligence, you're giving it a body, you're giving it adaptability, you're giving it physical presence as well as digital presence. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have any oversight and governance, you don't understand. I talked to another friend of mine out in New York, matter of fact, and he was saying some of the similar things that, we're building something, we're releasing it out into the wild, and literally saying that, meaning especially when you give it physical presence, that through robotics or whatever it may be. They used to, all those other movies that we've seen in the past, it can take control of cameras, can do this, can do that, because it's a machine, so it has adaptability. But if you don't put any safeguarding and controls into it, and if you give it the basic instinct of the human being, And there's two folds, and a lot of people know there's two folds, but that lower being the one that's been surviving for millions of years, or your smaller brain, it's all about survival. It's about
Yep.
instinctual awareness, right? The instinct is to survive at all costs. So if you start embedding that into the instructions and programming of the kernel, as we say in the machine, now you're telling it basically to defend itself, to your point. You're not saying, just unplug me or whatever it may be, but that's how you're programming it. So we got to be careful about what we are talking about and when we're releasing, especially. A lot of our audience is like, oh, well, you're talking about AI. AI is a progression, and evolves. So
Yes.
what we're doing now is more reactive AI. I would say when you're working with LLM, large language models, your ChatGPTs, your
Exactly.
Gemini, your Claude, that's reactive. You're starting to see the very beginnings of agentic AI, which meaning multitask oriented
Mhm.
platforms. So now it can reach in to your email, into your social media, into your back office CRM, your financial systems, because you're giving it permission to do that. That's agentic AI. So you're just said super intelligence,
Mhm.
it's starting to sound kind of sci-fi about it because now it's worldwide and international. I often talk about we are finally at a point now where the what you call the tech states
Mhm.
are more powerful than the nation states. When I say nation states, we're talking about the US,
Mhm.
Russia,
Mhm.
Iran by itself. These tech states
Mhm.
are more mobilized, have more capital, and
Oh yeah.
and you see the drone warfare that's going
Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
don't want to bring everybody, but that is all controlled by a super intelligence. Am I
Yeah.
wrong or right?
No, you're absolutely correct. And the thing about it is that if we don't, just on that note, we didn't even start discussing exactly what happens with international warfare.
Mm,
We're not talking about the infiltration of the cybersecurity or cyber threats that can permeate, that's constant, that's a billion attacks in milliseconds. People don't understand that level.
yeah.
And the if you look at construction, the number of data centers that are being built,
Mhm.
the amount of energy they're anticipating utilizing in order just to support
Right.
AI. Now, and you also mentioned, movies. It'll give you a totally different look at Terminator. People are like, oh no, 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 but you got to understand that that's exactly where it's going.
Yeah, because you can, again, when you give it physical presence, and that's what a robot really is, now it can do things in your space. Who
Well,
controls
hold
that?
on, hold on. It's not necessarily robotic.
Yep. Say that.
You're also talking about chips that can be implanted.
Oh, yeah, in
Now,
us.
so now you're talking about chips that have. I mean, you got to realize how much computing power can go on a microscopic chip now.
Mm,
Have that implanted, have it your absolute recall, your translation, you can understand every language, it can understand your vitals and
wow.
not only address what happens, but be able to be proactive and mitigate any type of illness if possible through the own functionality of your body, having it automatically heal. So now you're talking about people who may be good people or may not be so good
It
people.
sounds like Terminator 2. We went from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2 already.
I mean, but that's to be honest with you, that's one of I don't necessarily want to call his name, but the wealthiest man in the world. That's his number one newest technology that's on his plate right now.
Yeah, these things are, and like I said, we're
You
talking
can do a lot
as
with
this
$1 trillion.
progression up, but if we don't get, reeling this back in, what me and Daryl are looking to do, especially in the Omaha market, and we see where we're at, and we see the deployed technology, the platforms, and then just the natural intelligence that's out there, kind of how we're operating today. But how can we be even more efficient? Often look at when I see, especially in North Omaha, and what the investment dollars are going into it and what they want it to look like. I see a center of excellence that could be created because we have to get involved with this platform. It's not like I tell people like, well, I just want to participate. Well, you don't want to have a cell phone. You don't want to participate in cellular technology. Well, oh no, no, no. Well, AI is on that level. It's not about a choice of not wanting to participate, and you already are because
Right.
you're in this digital construct. So it's there.
Right.
So you best know how it is best to know how to utilize it to your benefit by understanding it and then
Absolutely.
utilizing it for your own advancement. So with that said, and you've been in Omaha now. First, tell us how you got to Omaha and what do you think you would like to do while you're here?
Well, I actually came through Omaha via LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So I came to Nebraska as the CIO for DHHS for the state of Nebraska. And once uh, I left the DHHS, I went to IBM. When I went to IBM is when I came up to Omaha. And Omaha has been a home to me. It feels very comfortable to me. I like the direction that it's going, the progression that it's making, the new mayor, the things that they're doing with Omaha Inland Port Authority, the things they're doing that with Omaha 100. There's an empowerment network. There's a lot of things that's transpiring in number of communities, but especially in communities of Black and Brown people. So
Mhm.
that South Omaha, that North Omaha, and Omaha overall. It provides big city amenities with a small town feel.
That sounds good.
And that's what really attracts that's really what attracted me to remain here and looking forward to being here a little while if possible.
Oh, 100%. And as we look at the business landscape and understand what Main Street Omaha looks like, and I see a lot out there, and how I'm now deploying the Omaha AI Marketing Accelerator and Business Accelerator. So, okay, I know what I've done down in the Miami market. I know what can be done. I want to make sure, because this is one of the first times, I need our artists to understand, it's one of the first times that I would say the common person mainstream America has access to enterprise applications, Fortune 500 applications. You can get intelligence, true, into not just information, intelligence in seconds if you know what you're doing and how you want to utilize that kind of information to scale your business. Right? Take that. Hey, how can I compete in this market? Not only in the Omaha market, nationally, internationally. I mean, you can do so much with so little. So the truth, like, even though you might be a company of 5 to 10 people, you could operate somebody with 50 to 100 people. That's never been happened before.
Absolutely. The thing about it is, and excuse me for the way I'm saying this, and hopefully you don't kick me off your podcast, but AI will make shit up. So
Oh yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. No, that's not even that's the
so
truth.
you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what your outcome is anticipated. You have to understand the roadmap and that it is true to your
Mhm,
abilities, to your network, to your funding, to those things that are proposed by AI.
mhm,
So in that, it is a great tool, but it is still being refined. And
mhm.
the thing about it is that is and right now is likened unto the person that believes they know everything. And so if you ask a person that knows everything a question, if they don't know the answer, they might just let me just make something up because I want to act as if I know everything. AI is somewhat like that.
Yeah.
Now it's better because it can go through a lot of different databases and all of that, but it still will create. And as I stated earlier, it will create hallucinations. It does that now. So
Let's unpack that a little bit. I just need to understand this, how it's different, and you'll appreciate this because we've been operating now. We call it almost like a digital. It is a digital reality. We're at, meaning that's ones and zeros. They score 1 plus 1 always equals 2. We call that deterministic technology. That you're always going to get the same result by the same activity or the same action. 1 plus 1 will equal 2. Like, oh, that sounds great. But in the AI world, because it's using predictive analytics,
right,
1 plus 1 could equal 3
it could
because
equal
it or whatever it does.
exactly. The
It
thing,
does because instead of doing one thing, it does an option. And it looks at those options and it may determine which one it feels is the best path forward. Now, a lot of times predictive analytics, in certain situations is pretty accurate, as people have seen. That's why they're using AI at scale that they are now. Because for the most part, especially when text communication, things like that, it can predict with fairly good certainty what the next word would be in a sentence to get to the level that in understanding context. Context is a big deal. But as we now, and you're going to see this now, especially with I call it agentic AI, the
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
some of the weaknesses to your point, because you can't always have differences in outputs,
Right.
especially in financial modeling mathematics, like no, 1 + 1 need to equal, 2 every single time. I can't be having it, the variance can't be like that. So I think you're going to start seeing more deterministic models as well as probabilistic models almost working in tandem. We'll see how that all works out, right?
Absolutely. The thing about it is that we've transpired, we've gone from a binary code to a natural language implementation. And so with that, you're going to have variants. You're going to have those things that are going to be rationalized.
Mm.
And so with that, you have to have the human interaction. You can't just let it run rampant and run wild and whatever you put in, whatever it puts out, you're okay with. That's not the smart way to handle business. The
Hmm.
smart way to handle your business, because what will happen is that you end up having a deliverable that will write a check that you can't cash.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's what you don't want. And so when you put the information in, make sure you do your own checks and balances. It's not a hands-off application.
Hmm.
When it becomes a hands-off application, it doesn't need you anymore.
Right, right. And
You still
forget
have to put in the sweat equity.
and so you do AI readiness for especially for businesses.
Mhm.
I need help me understand the audience understand. So what do you mean by AI readiness? I can operate. I can go get a ChatGPT subscription, $20. Why do I need AI? Why do I need AI readiness? Help me understand that.
Well, this is what I do. I go into organizations because while at IBM, I also did a lot of process engineering. Did a lot of things with the Radisson Choice Hotel merger. And what happens is that they took two major organizations, came together. They had two totally different, disparate technology systems, and to bring that under one platform, and how do they live and play well together?
Hmm.
So had to bring that in. Order to do that, you have to understand the policies and procedures. You have to understand the current state in reality, not what's just on paper. So you understand an organization from workshops, from actually talking to people. What is your day to day? How do you handle this piece of information going from point A to point B, and so on? Not only understanding that, understanding the vision of the organization,
Hmm.
being able to say, okay, this is the strategic foci of this particular enterprise, be able to prioritize that product backlog, and of product backlog basically meaning the technology of which they want to purchase in order to take it to its future state. So I'll look at that and I'll say, okay, once I fine tune the policies and procedures, once I get everyone to agree on what the correct procedures are, and sign off on that, look at the future state, create a gap analysis. What needs to happen in order to get from one place to another? Create an impact analysis that's internal, external, as well as statutory. So you want to make sure that you stay in compliance. You want to make sure that you're NIST compliant, that you're SIFMA compliant. I did a lot with Broadridge, which is the company that bought ADP. I did their daily change management meetings, where if any change was made within their infrastructure, it had to come through this committee in order to see what that impact analysis is. And we will say, yes, we can, no, we can't, or if we do it, these are the things that need to transpire before, to diminish the capacity for disruption across the board, and especially the clientele. So doing that, looking at the gap analysis, looking at resource allocation, looking at cost benefit analysis, looking at timeframes, creating, being a certified project manager, creating the project plan for them, understanding the Six Sigma credentials that I have in order to ensure that not only from a policy standpoint, what does it flow like from a personnel standpoint? Looking at ITIL, I'm ITIL certified, so I'm looking at how do I go into their infrastructure and ensure that if we implement these changes, what will transpire internally from an infrastructure, from a data center standpoint, what that means to the organization, create that roadmap, and be able to share it in a dispassionate way, saying, hey, this is the information that I've assimilated from my assessment, from my various analysis that's being done. Here you go. Make the decision you like to make with it, but make it with your eyes wide open, and God be with you.
But now you said a lot. A lot of people followed you. Some people that couldn't follow you.
Let me say it
No,
differently.
no, go.
Let me say it differently. I look at where you are, I look at what you want to do, and ensure that I give you the information to get there with the least amount of disruption and penalty to the transition.
That is what, see, from us, let's say a CEO perspective or board perspective, like, okay, I understand it. And he's looking at this from a technology lens. Here's the deal right now that's probably happening in a lot of boardrooms as they sit and listen. Say, hey, you know what? We watched now maybe 3 to 4 years as AI has really come on board, and we're starting to see these changes. We're starting to see some of our tool sets like Salesforce and some other ones that are deploying agents into their software layer. It's there. They're kind of pushing us into this world of now the LLM and now IP agents get into agentic AI. Now, with all what you just said, I have a little concern about when it comes to AI. An AI chat is very reactive. You tell it what you want, it's going to get you back some information. It's kind of harmless wherever it comes. You got to watch it if you put it out there. Obviously, look like the answers that you're getting. An IP, I would say an AI agent, just the agent's aspect. Now it's tying together some disparate systems together, and it's giving you some very detailed information. And I think to lock in probably some communications with your telephony system, things of that nature. And it's kind of cool. Agentic AI is a little different animal, and it concerns me because this is living, for the most part, is living in your back office. And what
Mhm.
does that mean? That means it's tying together your financial systems. It's tying together your HR systems. A lot of different things are going on that you're turning over to an agentic AI system. Like we just said, put this together now, that it's not deterministic, it's probabilistic. You don't know exactly completely output it's going to get. And then remember, it's not only operating in your internal environment, it's going to go outside of that. And then maybe you get vendors and other things that are connected to your IT systems. This is a web. How do you see agentic AI? And this is what I tell people. On Monday when you set it up and you program it, it probably look great. But on Friday, it's a complete mess because there's so many other factors that you didn't anticipate that
Mhm.
are now at play that this has become a giant yarn ball or some type.
I agree. The thing about it is, this is once again, this is the human element that you have to actually put the work in. Not only do you have to put in information in order to get your necessary output, but also you need to put in the safeguards. You need to put in the audit trails. You need to be able to not only assess what it's giving you, but be able to reverse engineer it as you go along. So what happens, what I've seen happen is that I've gone into organizations and they were like, oh, I got it. I can go on to, chat or Gemini or whatever it is that you want to bring to the table. I can just put what I want in there and it'll print it out. Well, yes and no. The thing about it is that is it giving you, uh, certified information in order to have a real life application?
Hmm.
Is it allowing you to understand that if something goes wrong, that you can have audit alerts that will flag it
Hmm.
if someone else, because how do you secure the information that's going in it? How many people have their hands, inside? Because it could be one person, it could be three people, it could be five people. How do you know that the information that's being input all the way across the board is being filtered in correctly? Those are the monitoring. That's why the number one job, in my opinion, to have during this AI transformation or transition, however you want to look at it, is compliance officers.
Hmm.
To be able to go in and do audits, to be able to go in and to monitor and ensure that every aspect of your infrastructure, i.e., your AI components that run your infrastructure, are in line and maintain a credibility and a authenticity to the premise of your policies and procedures. And so, and be able to monitor that. So you're going to need a human factor for that for right now.
Yeah.
Because if you just say, hey, I can replace 50 people, well, yeah, that may be true. Yet, how many people will you need if something goes wrong? You know, it's not a fail safe. It's not
Yep.
like it's the end all be all right now, and it may never be because I don't know of anything that is an end all be all.
Right.
You know,
Right.
this have a lot of information. It can do a lot of things. It can create a lot of things. It can make something look really pretty, but that doesn't mean that it is. It doesn't mean that it's beneficial. That doesn't mean that it's productive. That doesn't mean is that at the end of the day, it's going to be the best thing for you or your client. And when you're talking about pulling from systems, when you're talking about pulling from HR, because it's used a lot for back office,
Yep.
you're opening up your social security information, your health information, information that you may not want public. So do you really want AI to have that? And if it does get it, how do you secure it? How do you now no longer hold your company liable for information that's disseminated around the world of somebody's private business?
Man, there's so many moats that have to be built, new moats, new things, because we don't know, you don't know what you don't know until you
Correct.
start seeing it operating. And the more that AI is prolific, meaning like the internet. And
Mhm.
I'm starting to see where I think in my world it used to be internet, that was public. There was intranet, that's internal. And there was a separate line of delineation between them both. You're going to
Mhm.
need something to that effect as we now see the benefits of AI when it comes to speed, when it comes to communication, it comes to scalability. Oh, no. And I can do more with less. Those are obviously the positive. The negatives are you have to contemplate these things around zero trust factor, right?
Right.
Where your data now is the new oil. So you can't just have your data just out there in someone else's camp and you don't even know what's happening with it.
Well, well, that's why I have several certifications, ITOM, ITAM, CSA, and ServiceNow.
Hmm.
ServiceNow will create that environment for you for the internal workings, and it can isolate your agentic AI within your organization. That's the difference maker that I bring to the table,
Hmm.
and I can create that siloed environment that permeates just for your company without having the purview of the rest of the world taking a look at it.
That's important. You got to be able to seal that off and have those natural firewalls, as we, to call
Mhm.
it that way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you get that done? So I'm going to conclude here because we're getting to
Okay.
the end of our show. But before I do, you got to let us know again how to contact you, why businesses in Omaha, I feel, should contact you, and how we potentially will be working together to bring that type of reality to our Omaha businesses.
Well, for a couple of things, a lot of people are looking to go towards AI, but yet they don't really know what that means. I can help them in that transition. I can help them understand not only how to reach the modernization of AI that a lot of companies are aspiring to, but even more so and even more to the now, if you will, show their employees how to utilize AI not as a replacement, but as a tool.
Mhm.
So to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of your current staff, as your company starts to grow and to implement AI on a larger on a larger scale, now those other aspects of my business being able to come in, being able to show the roadmaps and all the things that I spoke about earlier, that's also can be done simultaneously. Not only that, another aspect that's really near and dear to my heart is because I do believe in the community. I believe that entrepreneurship is the next iteration of the biggest part of the job market because we're going to have to work on our own. We're going to have to do, we're going to have to be in an environment where we eat what we kill. And so the smaller companies, now I can build the ServiceNow platforms and build their back office and have it secure and be able to work with them on an individual basis as they start to grow. If they don't have the technical expertise in themselves or in their staff, that's where I will supplement. And that's where my company comes in, and as well as my staff that works with me, and be able to fine tune that to on an individual level and for your corporation, and start to be able to build that and be able to build it in a way where it scales.
Mm-hmm.
So as you grow, as you change, it grows and changes along with you.
That's
And
the
so,
most important part, what you said there, because I've heard so much about you can now this vibe coding. I mean, you can almost speak code into existence in these applications.
oh, it's
However,
natural.
you haven't even thought about the fact that how you're going to maintain it. Who's going to be able to fix it after it's out there in the wild? Because it can't just, to my knowledge, can't totally fix itself at this point. What does the exit strategy look like? Is it monetizable? I mean, can you even sell it to someone else? Is it so customized that only you can use it? There's so much more that you have to get to. It's cool to make a beta. I'm all for that. But production is a different animal altogether, right?
Absolutely. And the thing about it is that a lot of people don't quite understand that part of it. They understand the beginning, the initiation, the sexy dating stage. But how about, I call it the puppy theorem. See, when my daughter animal lover, so am I, but she's really an animal lover. So very young, she wanted a puppy. I was like, okay, Jordan, this is the deal. I know you think you're buying a puppy, but what you're really buying is a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's cute and cuddly now, but you're gonna have to feed it. You're gonna have to walk it. You're gonna have to keep it. You're gonna have to nurse it back to health. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to clean up behind it. Because after a year or two, 3 at the most, it is a full-blown dog.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing is I'm ready to help people in the puppy stage, but prepare them to be full-blown dog
Owners of the dog.
owners of a dog. So that if we want to leave, we can leave on that note. Make sure that when you get your AI puppy, that you're ready for your AI dog.
Oh man, I couldn't have said it better. That is wonderful. That is great. Now, did you give us your email? If they need to contact you, what is the best way?
It is really simple, and I'm modifying some things because I've had people get on me about being not as creative as I should be. It is Darrell T Black at Gmail, which is DARRELLT Black BLACK all together at gmail.com. But soon to come will be Darrell T Black at metavision.net.
Okay. Okay. All right. So everybody knows that. Also, if you want to, and we have a lot of these shows that we're talking about AI because you have to get ready. This is a platform shift. This is huge. When you talk about internet, you talked about mobile compute, you talked about cloud computing. This AI is a whole new fabric. Actually, AI will swallow all of those, and in personal computing as well as what it'll do. But we've got to have where it's domesticated to be able to utilize within our workflows and to grow with us and to be an asset, not a liability. I think that's so important. Make sure you tune in all the episodes at 5-Star BDM. You can do so at the number 5, that is star, STAR, B for brand, D for development, Informasters.com. Thank you, Darrell T.
Thank
Black,
you, Grant.
for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Grant. I appreciate it, and I love the great job that you're doing out there. We need you out there. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man. You take care. We'll be talking soon.
See you.
Bye.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
I love the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
Really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into, so this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage, however, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
The difference between influence and legacy, it's the platform that carries your voice. You're not visible because you lack talent. You're visible because your brand doesn't speak. I've built 5-star BDM to change that. Most leaders have the expertise, but not the presence, the vision, but not the vehicle. Across 3 cities, one brand is helping leaders rise above the noise. Here in the heart of Omaha, strategy isn't left to chance. It's engineered with precision. In Omaha, we engineered your Zachner brand, AI-powered, data-driven, precise. TISA went from a local nonprofit to a national speaker in 90 days. We don't guess your brand strategy, we build it. On the shores of St. Croix, your brand takes on depth and meaning, shaped through curated retreats and legacy experiences. In St. Croix, strategy becomes soul. Our retreats don't just refine your message, they rediscover your mission. One founder rewrote his entire company story here. Funding followed 30 days later. This is where leaders remember who they were meant to be. In vibrant Miami, momentum meets amplification, transforming your voice into a movement. In Miami, your brand becomes a movement. Business development accelerators, audience building. Joy came with an old website and an outdated company name, but she left with 5,000 followers and a waiting list. This is where you scale with soul. 3 cities, 1 mission, your legacy ignited. It started with a thread. Let's pull it together. Stop blending and start leading. 5-Star BDM, where legacy is engineered, embodied, and ignited. Visit 5starbdm.com and book your brand audit today.
What if you could unlock the power of your personal brand, no matter where you are in your journey? That's the heart of Follow the Brand, a podcast where host Grant McGaw reveals that everyone, yes, everyone, has a brand worth sharing. Whether you're a Fortune 500 CEO, an entrepreneur in transition, or just starting to explore your purpose, this show is your invitation to discover what makes you unique. Each episode features intimate conversations with remarkable guests. You'll hear from branding legends like David Auker, Fortune 100 executives, quantum physicists, space mission launchers, and AI innovators. Grant dives deep into their stories, uncovering the purpose and authenticity that drive them forward. But this isn't just about learning from the best. It's about finding the universal patterns that connect us all. Through the BRAVE framework, brand identity, resilience, authenticity, vision, and execution, you'll see how a healthcare executive draws inspiration from an endurance racer's grit, or how an entrepreneur learns strategy from a CIO's tech journey. With over 225 episodes and 50,000 downloads, Grant brings 3 decades of business expertise and wisdom to every conversation. If you're ready to build your executive presence, navigate a career change, embrace new technologies, or simply tell your story more powerfully, Follow the Brand is your guide. Your brand and your purpose are already within you. Let's bring them to light. Are we building a workforce strategy, or are we just buying a tool? This is the question that sits at the heart of every conversation about artificial intelligence today. For many organizations, the focus has been on the technology itself, but the real challenge is much deeper. It is not about the latest software or the most powerful algorithm. It is about leadership. Most organizations are asking the wrong question about artificial intelligence, not because they lack intelligence or vision, but because nobody told them the question had changed. Grant McGaw, CEO and founder of 5-Star BDM, puts it simply, The conversation has shifted. Artificial intelligence is no longer just about machines that create things. As Michael Faucett, founder and CEO of Arian Research, explains, we moved from machines that create things to machines that do things. That is a completely different kind of thought process. Every enterprise pilot that has ever failed did not fail because of the technology. It failed because of people. The real obstacles are not technical limitations, but human ones. Leadership, communication, and vision are what determine whether artificial intelligence initiatives succeed or stall. The technology is ready. The question is whether leaders are prepared to guide their teams through the change. As Michael Faucett points out, it's more of a change management issue than anything. If you say we're building a hybrid workforce and nobody's losing their job, you'd have much better adoption. The real work is not in the code, but in the culture. Change management, not computing power, is what drives successful adoption of agentic artificial intelligence. Agentic artificial intelligence is not a technology investment. It is a workforce strategy. There is a difference. The difference is everything. Organizations that understand this distinction will be the ones that thrive. Those that do not will struggle, no matter how advanced their tools may be. Michael Faucett has advised Fortune 500 companies through this exact transition. With 35 years in the engine room of enterprise technology, his insights will change how you think about what you are actually building. Listen to the full conversation on the Follow the Brand podcast. Agentic AI is not a technology problem. It's a leadership problem. Available now on all platforms and at 5starbdm.com.
I want to thank everybody for coming out here and join our center here at the Enterprise, L96 and L. This is the grand opening of 5-Star BDM in Omaha, Nebraska, my hometown, and I can't wait to bring these services in healthcare, technology, and finance to all of you. Welcome to 5-Star BDM Studio. This is where we are making the Follow Brand Podcast TV series and the Follow Brand Podcast itself. This is where the magic happens. Thank you again for tuning into the Follow Brand Podcast. I am your host, Grant McGaw. We are going to feature those who are looking to scale and grow their business to the next level in the world of healthcare, the world of technology, and finance. I want to thank you all for tuning in week by week, because this is how we grow our brand to the highest level. I want to thank each and every one of you, first of all, for taking the time to share your vision, your ideas with us at 5-Star BDM, so we can take what you have and bring it to an ideal state. We want to focus on you. Welcome to the Follow Brand Podcast. Today we're going to talk about unleashing your visibility of value. One of the biggest problems that small business owners have is that their value is not visible. We change that for everyone. Now, for 5-Star BDM, and you're looking to be a client, you're looking to scale, you're looking to move yourself to a whole nother level, this is the way you do it. First, you book an appointment with me. You get a free consultation. We're going to talk about where you're currently at in your journey. We want to understand your brand assessment. From there, we start with the BRAVE framework. And the BRAVE framework that I have patented, I have a copyright and a trademark on. We're talking about brand identity. We're talking about resilience. We're talking about authenticity. And we are talking about visibility and execution. If this rings true for you, it'll ring true for your business.
How many times have you heard the word artificial intelligence in the last month? Now ask yourself a better question. How many times has artificial intelligence actually put money in your pocket? Artificial intelligence is everywhere, but revenue is not. Here is a truth most small businesses do not want to admit. Your next customer could be calling right now, and nobody is answering. It is not because your team does not care. It is because your system is broken. Missed calls mean missed revenue, and every unanswered call is a lost opportunity. In this episode of Follow the Brand, Grant sits down with the leaders of WeLevel to explore how agentic artificial intelligence is changing the game for small businesses. Not with more hype, but with speed to lead and real implementation. Imagine systems that answer, qualify, schedule, and follow up with customers, even when you are off the clock. This is not about replacing your brand, it is about protecting it. The businesses that win in the artificial intelligence era will not be the ones with the most tools. They will be the ones that know how to connect artificial intelligence to revenue. Watch the latest episode of Follow the Brand, your business called Nobody Answered.
I'm just so happy with you. But I got to ask you this, because I've asked my guests this, always in real time. I like to have it in real time. How did you like your appearance on the Follow the Brand podcast?
It was like I was just conversing with a good friend of me, sharing my heart out. It was no, and you've just touched the right chords. So that's where, I was able to bring out so many things and share everything so honestly from the bottom of my heart. So it was not like a formal podcast where you are like, hey, Grant, yes, Grant. It was not like that. It was no real question session. This was pure fun.
You've been on a lot of podcasts. You have your own podcast. Now you've had the experience of being with me on
to sell my image or sell my services or sell I could be myself. I had a great experience with you. And
you've done a lot of podcasts. You have your own podcast. Now you've gone through the Follow the Brand podcast with myself, Grant McGaugh. How did you feel about this interview?
Went exceptionally well. And I thank you for the opportunity, Grant, to be able to speak about me. Because one of the things about my own podcast is that I reflect a lot on stories and situations and examples of things that I've experienced, but seldom is it a platform and an opportunity for me to really share my story.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming. Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.